Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Right on cue. I'd like to thank the Honourable Member for Gainsborough for the love bombing there, but that in itself won't be enough, I can assure him, to save his union. Madam Deputy Speaker, when it comes to young people, their choices, their rights and their future, once again we have a tale of two governments. One here that refuses to give 16 to 18-year-olds the vote, and one here that is trying to suppress voting the electoral register bill. And when the SNP first extended the voting franchise for the 2014 referendum, we should note both Labour and the Tories were opposed to young people getting their chance to vote. And why was that? Because they feared the young would vote for independence. However, it was actually a long-standing SNP policy, and as a principle ours, and we extended this to parliamentary elections. Madam Deputy Speaker, we believe in democracy and maximum participation. And that's why EU citizens also have the vote, and it's why we've now extended it to refugees. And in terms of democracy, we live in a parliamentary democracy. Pro-referendum and pro-Indy parties get 72 seats to the Union's 57 seats. And the SNP achieved the highest constituency vote share of any party ever at a Holyrood election, and achieved in a record turnout. And at that election, Madam Deputy Speaker, the Tories made it clear that the referendum was a key voting issue, and yet they only secured 23% in the last vote, with pro-Indy parties achieving over 50%. So therefore, why does Westminster think it should have a veto on our democratic choices? What messages does that send to the young voters? And it's young people that have had to face the brunt of Brexit, so surely they deserve a chance to choose their own path, a different future, a chance to consider the merits of an independent Scotland within the EU, getting a government the people vote for, a government with the full economic levers of independence, able to make its own decisions. Madam Deputy Speaker, that's a normal country, and one that could choose to implement a new Green Deal, for example. So it's no wonder 70% of 16 to 24-year-olds favour Scottish independence. When it comes to climate change, we know young people are more engaged and recognise it's the biggest threat to their future. And they know the Scottish Government has declared a climate emergency, but the UK Government so far haven't followed suit. And the young want to see a green recovery, which actually is only possible with Scottish independence. Why should Scotland remain in a union where energy policy is reserved to Westminster? It means everything we do is effectively done with one hand tied behind our backs. While we were forging ahead with ambitious renewable energy targets, David Cameron down here was trying to cut the green crap. And this led to the blocking of onshore wind development in Scotland, and we're also stuck with a grid charging system that sees operators in Scotland pay the highest connection fees in Europe. And Madam Deputy Speaker, despite this, Scotland still managed to produce over 97% of its electricity demand from renewable energy in 2020, truly leading the way. So why should we be stuck with an energy policy that is wedded to new nuclear power stations, which is piling money onto our electricity bills? The £20 billion Hinkley Point C project is 4 to 5 times more expensive than the current offshore wind prices. And we don't actually need nuclear for base load, because the National Grid Chief Executive Officer debunked that myth in 2015. So it's utter madness to commit further billions to new nuclear power stations or small modular reactors or nuclear fusion. We're actually just creating another nuclear waste legacy, and the existing one is already costing us over £130 billion. It's obvious, Madam Deputy Speaker, that renewable energy is the future, and we need to grasp the opportunities to create these green jobs, potentially providing rewarding careers and opportunities for careers that could see people travelling around the world. But there was nothing, absolutely nothing, in the Queen's speech for renewable energy policy. For baseload and energy policy, we need the go-ahead and pricing mechanism for pumped hydro storage. For just around £1.5 billion, we could see the Crooken Dam extension and the new Corrie Glass scheme constructed. So these would create much-needed high-quality job opportunities in rural Scotland. And even better, analysis by Imperial College suggests that investment in pumped hydro storage could save us £700 million per year in system costs by 2050. So let's get this done. And when's the UK Government going to do something to get the CCS project Peterhead over the finishing line? Equinor and SSE say this could be operational by 2026, so it could be part of the just transition and provide vital job opportunities for our young people. And it's the same for hydrogen. Agree a CFD mechanism and get the Fergus project up and running. And Madam Deputy Speaker, why, oh why, is the UK Government not doing more to get wave and tidal projects at a stage where they can be scaled up. This really is the way that Scotland can lead the world, but instead we're constrained by UK government policy and procurement processes. Now, we've actually already missed out on green jobs in manufacturing fabrication hubs because of flaws in the CFD process with regards to offshore wind procurement. So this is further proof that Westminster doesn't work for Scotland. And where's Westminster's policy for scaling up heat pump production and installation to get 600,000 installs per year, which the 10-point plan tells us is going to happen? There's only 20,000 installs a year at the moment. When's Westminster going to get a grip of energy efficiency policy? They need to treat it like a national infrastructure project the way the Scottish Government does. The Scottish Government spends 4 times what Westminster does on a per capita basis, creating jobs, and that long-term investment is what's required. And Madam Deputy Speaker, even when it comes to tree planting, Scotland by far leads the way. 85% of the trees planted in the past decade in the UK has actually been in Scotland. Indeed, the Queen's Speech Bill document, the UK Government brags about planting 13.5 hectares of trees last year. What they don't tell you, Madam Deputy Speaker, is over 80% of these trees were planted in Scotland with the Scottish Government. It was nothing to do with Westminster. So this is greenwashing of the highest order. But, Madam Deputy Speaker, Westminster cannot con us with greenwashing. They cannot con the electorate who knew full well what they were voting for at the Scottish elections last week. They know, by voting in the SNP and the Greens, that this is a clear indication that they want an independent Scotland leading in the way to net zero and creating a bright and optimistic future. And Westminster should not stand in that way, and I suggest Labour shouldn't be backing the Tories in that either.
Edward